Hi, I'm Dina Deason, local artist here on St. Simons Island, Georgia, and I have a special guest today, Roderrick Davis.
Hey!
So we have several of Roderick's paintings behind us, and I met Roderick at an art show here on St. Simons Island, and I just fell in love with his work. I'm just amazed at people who can actually do this realistic work. This guy has great talent. Let's talk about these beautiful paintings behind us.
Yes, let's.
So let's start with, I gotta say this is my favorite. I gotta say this is my favorite. Tell me the name of this. Who are these people? I love it.
The name of it is called I Want to Be Down. A lot of my art is inspired by music. This one specific song by Brandy. I don't know if you've never heard of her. She's a recording artist. If you ever listen to the song, it talks about this young girl that's, just coming up, and she meets this guy and, she wants to be everything she can be to him. It's kind of like this story of young love, young and naive. So, when I heard that, this was ultimately the image that came in my head. Being in love, not necessarily knowing what love is, but growing through it. I guess for me, I just got engaged. So, I've been thinking a lot about this as well.
The one directly behind you, very beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And to me, she's dreaming about the city.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this one.
So I have a fascination with New York. I love New York. New York has always been one of those places that I go to that I get a lot of inspiration from. I remember the first time I actually got a chance to go, it was like a dream come true, just seeing the energy and actually feeling it. So this piece right here was pretty much inspired just from the love of the city and going out and chasing your dreams. Obviously she's young, ambitious, full of beauty. Also got, her dreams and all of her thoughts and ideas like within inside her.
That is a beautiful painting.
Thank you.
And I love that. And I can actually see that person just thinking about, hey, I want to be in New York City. I want to be in the city. I love the city lights in a fast pace.
Like I said, it's a lot of movement. It's definitely a lot of movement in my work. Definitely, just from, like I said, the love that I have for it. And I just be wanting to capture that.
Now we're going to talk about the ones behind me, which the smoke. Everybody probably asks you, how do you do the smoke? It's so incredible.
Okay, so the one directly behind you, we'll start with the one in the car. So I call myself art and hip hop, right? That's pretty much my brand. And hip hop is, to me, I always looked at it as a lifestyle, the way you move, just the energy, the way that you do things. Like it's a whole entire culture.
Right.
So a lot of my art has been influenced by it. So in this picture, she's pretty much, sitting in the car and she's lighting up. I put it like this. What I'm focusing on right now, I'm focusing on the moments where you just got off of work, you're trying to make, sense of the day, and you're just trying to get that little bit of release and escape. So this painting is really a double meaning. You can see the windows is kind of fogged up.
Right.
You see a little heart in the background. Just something I threw in there to kind of represent a feeling, the emotion of just being alone, but also wanting to feel that love.
Right. So
there's a lot of stuff going on in this painting that I had in my mind that I just really wanted to put out and make a visual imagery. And so far people are loving the smoke. For me, I think it just gives a different type of atmosphere.
it does.
And to the smokers, they love it. So.
I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker. But I could almost smell the smoke. When I looked at that painting, I was like, oh my gosh. It just makes you think.
I love it.
That's what I love about your art. The more you look at it, the more you see. Like you just mentioned the heart, and I didn't see it the first time. But when it was in here, I looked at it again and I saw it was like somebody drew a heart in the glass of the window.
Yeah.
That's very cool. It really makes, draws you in, makes you think.
And I just want to give one more context on this one. So, obviously it's dark around her. I also wanted to represent internally being inside your own world with all of the darkness that can be around you. Sometimes, you can be your own light.
Right.
So that's kind of the that's kind of the meaning that I was going for. But yeah.
Go ahead with the last piece.
So I also take requests online sometimes. And you know, that's one thing I love about like my community and the people that like follow me, is that they'll give me like different ideas for a painting that they want to see next, especially since they know that I'm doing a series. One of the commenters, they said they wanted to see like 2 girls. So this was the image that I had in my mind. In the morning, once again in the city, waking up, just trying to figure out how we're gonna get through this day right here. And this one is actually called Turn on the Faucet, right? If you look behind you, you'll see there's like a faucet in the background. A lot of like smokers, they have this like little turn, and when you turn on the faucet, it kind of like gets rid of the smell and kind of gets rid of all the smoke and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's called Turn. That's why it's called Turn. Yeah, that's why it's called Turn on the Faucet. Yeah, that's why it's called Turn on the Faucet. So I just wanted to kind of do something for the community since they asked, and you know, just something that I feel like, you know, that they would love and gravitate towards, you know. And so far they're loving it. So,
good.
Yeah.
So you're able to reach out to people, or people see your art online, they're able to say, hey, we'd really like to see this, and you actually can come up with that just from a simple request, come up with a big vision. That's an incredible thing to be able to do.
Thank you. So currently, I hope this makes sense. Have you ever heard of the word like sonder?
Help me out.
Sonder is the belief and realization that every passerby has a life just as vivid and as complex as yours. Right. So I would say that's been the main focus of my art. A lot of reasons why you see my art, sometimes you'll see the people that'll be faceless, just so anybody could kind of see themselves in that painting.
In your art.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of different stuff that I've been, you know, trying out, you know, and I've been trying to envision. So this is,
Yeah, I noticed that there was a few that were faceless.
Yeah.
I do like that look.
Thank you, thank you.
Yep, now I understand it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we also touched a little bit on murals. And you did a mural, and I can't remember who requested that but you're going to tell me about it.
My mural that went viral, it was called BlackFuturesMatter.
Okay, I saw that one.
Yeah, and that was commissioned from Fair Fight. They was doing murals all around Brunswick, well, all around Georgia, and they wanted to unveil all the murals at the same time. Pretty much they wanted all of them to have kind of the same theme, but they gave each one of us kind of like the artistic liberty to kind of do, you know, what we want. So I chose to do a young boy because during that time, the protests were happening here in Brunswick. So, you know, I wanted to do something to speak to that, because for me, I feel like murals can also be a timestamp. It's just kind of one of those things that kind of you can kind of look back on and remember where, you know, the city was at during that time. So, you know, I chose to, you know, to go with that imagery.
Go ahead and tell all of our people who are listening to us where that mural is located so they can come and see it in person.
It's so the mural is called BlackFuturesMatter. It's on Altama. I don't know, I can't remember the exact address to it, but it's on Altama.
Oh, you can find it.
Yeah,
just go down Altama.
Go down Altama over, it's about 5 Point.
Okay.
5 Point on Altama, right across the street from Michelle's Rock and Roll.
There you go.
Yeah. And to give context on Black Futures Matter, so it was kind of a play off of Black Lives Matter. Like I said, just pretty much a timestamp for everything that was going on during that time, from the police brutality and, you know, and the injustices that was going on. And it was pretty much just a statement to speak on it. And, you know, that's another thing I love about art, is that it allows us to speak our minds or to make a statement. You ever heard this term like a picture can say 1,000 words? Yeah, I really believe that. So that's one thing I'm grateful for, just for the you know, to be an artist, is just to be able to kind of paint ideas and feelings and put them out there into the world. And, you know, another thing is art can be disruptive. The coolest thing about it is it at least gives people like the opportunity to even like talk. And you know, have that conversation. Sometimes a lot of those conversations may not be the most comfortable conversations, but it at least, you know, gives us that chance to have that conversation.
That's right.
Yeah.
You've been watching Artful Living with Dina, and if you like what you see, please like and subscribe for more.